I'm Dale Lawrence. Welcome to the Travel Show.
Fly different, feel extraordinary. Bangkok Airways, Asia's boutique airline.
Thanks for joining us. This week we're on the tropical island of Koh Samui. The island sits in the Gulf of Thailand, close to the mainland and the town of Suratani. It's about a 1-hour flight from Bangkok, but visitors do also come here by ferry and express boat from ports on the mainland. Now, Samui used to be almost entirely dependent upon agriculture and fisheries. But tourism changed all that. Indeed, many of the island's 55,000 permanent inhabitants rely upon tourism for their livelihoods. Inevitably, the development of the tourism industry on Koh Samui has created unprecedented pressures on the local infrastructure and huge demand for its natural resources. Water, for example, is a constant issue here. But with Koh Samui now firmly established as a jewel in Thailand's tourism crown, the choice of accommodation and attractions is greater than ever before. Join me after the break when we go behind the scenes at one of the island's top resorts, and I talk to the general manager of the Anantara Boput Resort and Spa. Stay tuned, we'll be right back.
Amazing Thailand always amazes you.
Well, I'm now joined by Manish Jha, the General Manager of the Anantara Boput Resort and Spa. Manish, good to see you.
Same here.
And thank you very much for inviting us to this wonderful property.
Good to have you here.
It's been a difficult year for Samui, hasn't it? You had those unseasonal floods back in March this year. It's not supposed to be your rainy season. But Chaweng Beach Road in particular was very severely affected by that, wasn't it? Airport was closed, stopped people coming here for a while. Sure. Did those heavy rains affect you here?
Again, I think rain for Samui is pretty common. Whenever it rains heavily. It takes, if it's 24 hours of rain, you can see water coming up. It's because of the drainage system in Samui.
But it was particularly bad along Chaweng Beach Road. I mean, and this is a popular part of Samui where you've got a lot of hotels, restaurants, shops as well.
Sure.
Did it affect this part of the island?
Outside the hotel also it was flooding. It was pretty bad, but in the hotel everything was absolutely fine, running normal. I think the issue what happened, it never rained in March, and that was the high season.
Yes, everything was very dry, and I suppose the water was just running off. But here you say you were okay. I would imagine that the topography of the land here, just sort of sloping down gently towards the beach, probably helps you in that regard.
Yes, also if you look at it, we are around 1.5–2 meters above the road, so that helps the whole property.
Yes.
You don't see water clogging here, and it goes down to the beach.
But that sort of meteorological disaster aside, has it been a relatively good year for you and for the island? I
think it's been fantastic as compared to last year. This year has been great for the whole Samui. The tourism has increased. A lot of new hotels have opened up. I think numbers are looking pretty strong. All the hotels are doing good occupancy.
Yes, you perhaps shouldn't necessarily compare just with last year, of course, which was a very bad year for the whole of Thailand, particularly Bangkok, of course, wasn't it? You know, with the combination of the social problems and the riots and the protests in Bangkok and the general global economic downturn. But generally speaking, the figures are going the right way, are they?
It's just, I think, Samui, with so many of competitor hotels opening up and, monopoly of Bangkok Airways, the flight pricing is pretty high. But however, I think if you have right strategy in the market and if you have right product, you're still doing pretty good.
Yes. You mentioned, I mean, there are a number of new properties opening up here. That places pressure, and I mentioned it in my introduction actually, it places pressure on the infrastructure, doesn't it? And you've always got a problem with water, for example, haven't you? How do you get around that problem here?
Again, this is, we are not new to Samui. We're being here 7 years, pretty settled with everything. The property is settled. However, if you look at it, all the new products which are coming, they're all villa, all with pool villas. However, if I talk about Anantara, a brand now, international brand, settled here. All these problems, we have recycled water, which you can see in the garden here, which we are using it. We have backup generators, and also we are pretty equipped to handle all the difficult situations.
Would you regard yourself as an environmentally friendly resort in that respect?
Yes, absolutely. In fact, next week we are going for audit for Green Globe certification, and hopefully we're going to pass, and we will be the first property in Samui to get this certification.
Just for the benefit of our viewers, this is an international organisation that comes in and inspects and measures your capability of doing things in a environmentally friendly way. I think that's right.
Yeah, that's absolutely correct. So next week we go for audit, and I'm pretty confident with the team.
Well, we wish you luck with that. I mean, I know you're doing all the rather routine things like asking guests, do they really want to have their sheets and their towels changed every day? I would imagine the vast majority of them say, no, we're fine for the duration of our holiday. Is that the case?
Yes, it is the case also. In fact, we have gone one step further, and we are asking guests, because a lot of guests, I mean, I see that they don't need printing of the bills and all. We check, would you like to have your bill to be printed, or just want to settle? So we have gone one step further, and that's I see a lot of guests, especially from Europe, they say, oh, no.
But I'm sure the guests still want to see the bill. They're not just handing over their money to you, Manish, are they, without checking it first?
No, for sure, yeah.
You mentioned the competition also Bangkok Airways having the majority of the flights coming in here. Actually, there's a new service starting in a few days, actually.
That's correct, Silk Air, yeah.
They'll be offering a service 3 times a week initially, I think, coming up from Singapore.
Yeah, that's correct. And I think the market which is really coming up is to Samui. Traffic which has increased is from Hong Kong and Singapore, and that's going to give a good boost to our traffic from Singapore. That's going to definitely help.
I would imagine that you would welcome that type of service, because the percentage of higher spending travellers coming from Hong Kong and Singapore is going to be in your favour, isn't it? I mean, that's the sort of clientele that you would attract to this property. You've got, what, 120-something rooms and villas, haven't you?
126, correct.
So you're enthusiastic about this new service coming up from Singapore, are you?
Oh yeah, for sure. And also, if you look at it, our property especially, really, we have a banquet hall and designed for group business, and there's a lot of group business, corporate business from Singapore and Hong Kong. So that's going to give us...
I'm surprised about that. I wouldn't have thought this was an obvious choice for that type of sort of incentive travel.
In fact, our property, if you look at the numbers, we are very, very strong with wedding and group and MICE business. So we do very good.
Manish, we've almost reached the pool area, but not quite. We just want to take a look at the view from this Full Moon restaurant. Full Moon, of course, has other connotations in this part of the world, doesn't it? We're going to be looking out over Pan Yan Island.
That's correct.
A destination for, I guess you would describe them as younger travellers who every full moon party all night.
Sure, sure.
One or two of them seem to get in all sorts of trouble. This is probably one of the best restaurant views in Samui, isn't it?
Yes, it is. And also, we've been very fortunate enough. This is the only restaurant in Samui which has been awarded the Wine Spectator Award 6th year consecutive. So we have, again, a chef been here for 7 years, and we have a name in the market. So,
well, this is an outside location. Doesn't take long for the wine to come up to room temperature here, does it?
No, for sure not. For sure not.
And what are you serving here?
We serve Italian and lunch. It's a fusion in the lunchtime. It's a different menu where it's Italian and mixed with Thai. However, at dinner time, it's exclusive Italian food.
You also do the trademark Anantara dining by design, don't you?
That's
now,
correct.
we first heard about that when we spoke to your colleague Tim Boda down in Hua Hin. You have something similar here, I think.
Yes, I think this is for the brand. It's for the whole brand Anantara. All private dinners, I mean, we call it dine by design. Dining by design.
Dining by design.
Dining by design. So we have, I mean, I have worked for the company for 6 years. I was in Maldives and I was an F&B director at that time. And we had as well their dining by design and cooking class.
Manish, I just want to come back to the issue of competition on Koh Samui. I was reading a report the other day talking about 5 new international hotel brands opening up here by the end of this year. So competition is going to become more intense, and yet there is a limited capacity for people flying in and out of the airport, isn't there?
Yeah.
Is it going to be a problem matching supply and demand because of that? And would you like to see more flights coming in here?
For sure. I mean, we had a couple of meetings with the Bangkok Airways team as well. And if I look at it, whenever it's high season, they work on getting some extra flights and all. But it is a challenge for high season for the destination for sure. However, in saying that, yes, 4 or 5 international brands are coming, but after this there is nothing coming. Whereas if you look at Phuket or other destinations, still you see 10 years plan, they're growing.
So Manish, with these new international brands coming here, the challenge for you then as the general manager is to protect your market share if you possibly can. We've got the high season approaching in Thailand. You've got to get through a couple of months of the traditional monsoon season, haven't you, in Samui, and then you would hope for a successful and very profitable winter period here.
Sure.
But by that time, all these new hotels will have opened. So what are you doing to make sure people choose the Anantara Boput Resort?
Here, if I look at it, it's not only destination in Samui, I think it's all over. And these days, as a hotelier, as a general manager, we really have to open our eyes, and we really have to monitor which direction we want to go and how to work with a strategy and all. And we are monitoring on, in fact, weekly basis and looking at our competitors, what they're offering, and keeping the market share and all. We are very strong with our repeat client business. And again, word of mouth, I think that's helping us.
It's the best referral you can possibly have, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Of course, you are fortunate in having at your disposal a very strong, very professional PR marketing team within the Anantara group, aren't you?
Yes.
And I know you sort of draw upon their expertise to create awareness of the property. And they're very savvy in terms of using viral marketing and social media, that sort of thing.
Absolutely.
What about the source markets? Where are people coming from to stay here?
For our property, again, Europe is pretty strong. Germany is the first nationality, I would say, which is supporting. Then it's English, and third nationality is Australian. There are 2 or 3 emerging markets. One is Russia. Then we have China and India. These are the 3 markets.
And that's a fairly common strand now, a fairly common story as we talk to people around Thailand. The growth of Russia, China and India as tourism source markets. And that's not going to go away, is it?
No, it's not. Again, if I may say, like we just finished last week, we had the biggest Indian wedding here for 200 people, the first time ever in Samui. And that's the market which we really want to tap into. And I think we have very good feedback, a lot of coverage, and I'm already having 7 or 8 requests for next year for wedding.
Well, you're born and bred in India, of course, Manish, so you should know exactly how to put on the perfect Indian wedding.
Absolutely. And this was a great success. So I'm confident that we will have our strategies right, and we will gain our market share.
You cut your teeth in the F&B business in the Maldives, didn't you?
That's
what a wonderful place. Do you ever wake up in the morning and think how lucky you are that you're working in all these wonderful tropical locations? It's not a job, is it really?
The grass is always green the other side. When you work, it's different. Yes. I motivate myself, and I thank Mr. Heineke that I'm being paid to stay in paradise.
Now, I mentioned just a moment ago about your background in the F&B business. You also did some professional bartending training, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
So what I'm going to suggest we do, because we're going to go to a break in a minute, adjourn to the bar, and I'm going to just see how good you are in mixing the definitive cocktail.
Oh, yeah, for sure, you would love it.
So we'll be back with more with Manish Jha after the break. But first, here's a roundup of the latest news. Thai Airways has unveiled the livery of its new Thai Smile subsidiary, described as a premium low-cost airline that will begin flying on domestic routes such as Chiang Rai and Suratani in mid-2012. Recruitment for staff begins soon, with the airline seeking to hire 40 pilots and 100 cabin crew. Flight attendants must be 24 years of age or younger and at least 5 feet 5 inches tall. A poll conducted by smartasia.com has ranked Samui Airport in the world's top 10. Samui, the only regional airport in the top 10 ranking, handles around 1.5 million passengers every year, with services dominated by Bangkok Airways, but it's about to welcome new services operated by Singapore-based Silk Air. And Bangkok Airways is extending its Summer Fly, Summer Free package promotion until the end of October. The promotion is designed for couples travelling together to domestic and regional destinations, including Chiang Mai, Sukhothai, Phuket, Samui, and Phnom Penh. The promotional packages include return flights, accommodation for 2 nights with breakfast, and round-trip transfers.
Today, let's start at Pak Bara Pier in Nangu district of Satun province. Just 20 minutes by speedboat, we reach Tarutao National Park. Tarutao is a large island which was once a place to hold political prisoners and had a lot of pirate gangs. Nowadays, the story has become history and a legend to tell to boost the excitement of traveling. If you're bored with the city life and interested in learning about the history of Thai Ratchathani, if you yearn for crystal clear water and beautiful white sand beaches, and if you want to take in this picturesque panorama with your own eyes, gather your friends and head to Tarutao.
Amazing Thailand, just as amazing as you remember.
Manish, we've now adjourned to the Eclipse Bar. Is it named after the lunar eclipse or the solar eclipse? Or does it matter?
It doesn't matter, it's Anantara eclipse.
And probably gets busy in here on the full moon party nights, does it?
You just need an excuse to drink. So whether full moon, no moon, or half moon, just come and party at Eclipse.
Well, I must confess, I have no idea when the last full moon was, but that's not going to stop us having a drink a little bit later on. Just coming back to what you offer here for your guests, you've got a very busy activity program. Actually, I was having a look at it earlier this morning. You can learn how to do some Muay Thai boxing. You can actually come into this bar, I think, and try to learn the Thai language.
Sure.
Having tried that myself, you need a stiff drink, actually, to help you with speaking Thai. Traditional towel folding, I noticed. The attraction of that does escape me, but I'm sure it's fascinating for some of your guests. But it is quite a busy program for all age groups, isn't it?
It is. We have, we make sure, when the guests, they come to Thailand, I mean, they really go and talk about the culture and the things what we offer as Anantara. We offer Thai boxing, Thai cooking class, Thai language, Thai wine tasting. We promote a lot of Thai wines as well here at the property, which a lot of European guests or guests from other different part of the world, they don't even know about it. So it's a good.
Well, it's a very relatively young industry, of course, isn't it, the wine industry here? So if one were to have a look at your wine list, there's quite a nice selection of local as well as internet, new and old world wines.
Not much with Thai, but yes, we have 2 wines from Thailand, and we promote that, and that's really well received by the guests.
we should perhaps open a bottle later and we'll judge for ourselves.
Yes, for sure, for sure.
What about when your guests want to go out and about around Samui? What are the things they're doing here?
Couple, again, it really depends on the age, whether it's young or honeymoon couple or it's a family. There's a very good safari park here, Namwang Safari Park. You have monkey show, crocodile show, snake show, you have quad biking there, there's a waterfall there, there's an elephant ride there, so that's pretty good.
Yes, elephant riding here is very popular. You've also got the zip line.
Yes.
I had some experience with that a couple of years ago, at ground level actually, while my daughter took to the air.
Okay. You can do car race outside a hotel. So
we've noticed the go-kart racing. There's every chance we might try that out a little later on.
Maybe we challenge Anantara team versus your team.
Well, as long as you can guarantee I get the souped-up go-kart. Got extra weight to carry.
Okay.
And in terms of the hotel facilities, you've got the well-known spa here, of course, haven't you? Do you find that attracts people just on its own, or is it something that people, well, yes, the spa's there, we'll try it out while we're staying here?
It really depends again from age, the guest's age, and really depends from where they're coming from. But our spa is, again, it's one of the best spa here, and we do get a lot of guests from other hotels. We get guests from Four Seasons, from Banyan Tree, they're coming and using our spa. It's just not the massage, it's the whole experience, what you pay for.
How do the general managers of those hotels feel about their guests coming to your spa?
Again, it's pretty. Sometimes we recommend other spas as well. So we, as a general manager here, we have share.
Of course, and this is for the industry, it's a very tight-knit community, isn't it? I know you are a member of SCUL in Samui, and also part of the Thai Hotel Association organisation as well. And with those two groups, you're trying to not only network, but to influence tourism policy to some degree, aren't you?
No, it is. We meet twice a month, all the GMs. It really depends on the schedule, and we discuss our issues, challenges, and we really make sure that Samui in the world map, people know where it is, and I think the results are showing, and it's a developing Samui.
So what are the big issues that you're facing at the moment? Because you're certainly putting Samui on the map. There's no doubt about
challenge,
that.
again, I think it's more with the airlines. People coming here, and especially when it's high season, Christmas, New Year, Easter time, or Europe school holidays. That's a bit challenging to get people to come here. I see a lot of offers.
Do you mean because it's the inconvenience to some of flying via Bangkok or elsewhere, or the fact that there is only limited capacity at Samui Airport?
Limited capacity and pretty expensive as well. The fares are very expensive. Again, I see a couple of offers which AirAsia, they're going to launch soon to Surat Thani and then transfer the guests from Surat Thani to here.
So that's possibly a cheaper alternative.
Yeah,
in defence of Bangkok Airways, which own and operate Samui Airport and have the majority of the flights coming in here, don't they? It's supply and demand, isn't it? And the demand is high, and that will always be the driver for the price mechanism.
Absolutely.
So you can't blame them for wanting to capitalise on the popularity of Samui as a travel destination.
It's both ways. I think we can argue on this, and we can have long debate on this.
Well, have you put those points to Bangkok?
We did. We had meeting last week as well with the Senior Vice President of Bangkok Airways. They're also looking into how to increase, and just again, the airport is also, the logistic also doesn't support them.
Well, there are environmental issues with the airport. There's been talk of a second airport on Samui. I don't think that's ever going to happen, is it?
Sure, absolutely. That's not going to happen.
No. But the length of the runway means that the capacity, the size of aircraft, you can't get 747s. When you get a 747 to land, I don't think you'd be able to take off again.
No, for sure, absolutely.
So there, but the size of the aircraft is limited, so the numbers of people coming in, Bangkok Airways are using either turboprops or narrow-bodied jets.
Sure.
So we're not talking about hundreds and hundreds of passengers on any particular aircraft, are we? So it's always going to be a restricted number. But the Suratani option could be good news for the island, if not necessarily for your property.
Yeah, no, it's good news for the island, certainly. And again, if you look at it apart, as you mentioned before, it's 4 or 5 international brands, and there's a lot of local brands coming as well, 2-star, 3-star property. So yeah, for them, our clientele is different. So for them, definitely that helps.
And you mentioned earlier when we were down by the pool about the Indian wedding market. You've just had a big function here. Is that something you're going to focus upon next year?
Yes, I am, and I have 2 weddings confirmed for December, and I have a lot of queries, and I'm dealing directly with them. Hopefully, a few of them will materialize, and yeah, of course, we are really focusing.
What happens at a typical Indian wedding that might be different from other cultures? Is it a very long sort of occasion?
It is very long. I mean, this wedding, first time, all my team said they have never seen something like this. It was 3 days long affair.
Goodness me.
And that was, if you ask me, being in India, that was the short version. I got married, it was a 10 days affair. So it is very tiring.
Were you still speaking to your wife at the end of the 10 days?
Yeah.
It's a challenge in itself, isn't it? Get through a 10-day wedding ceremony.
Just wanted to sleep. Yeah.
Never was a honeymoon more richly deserved, I would imagine.
Sure.
Now, I also mentioned earlier about your earlier career in the F&B business and the fact that you've done some professional bartending training. So before we sign off, Manish, I'm just going to put you to the test. And I know you're going to just step behind the bar and you're going to just rustle up my favorite cocktail.
What's that?
Which is a bourbon sour.
Ah, okay.
Long glass, Jim Beam, lots of lime juice and crushed ice.
Okay.
Is that within your capabilities?
Absolutely. I'm doing this after a long time. Let me say that after maybe 3-4 years, but I love doing bartending. So yeah, let me see. I'm sure you will love my drink. Crushed ice, as you mentioned. Jim Beam. A little bit of lemon juice, some sugar syrup, a little bit of more ice, let me try a little bit first. I think you will like it.
Manish, you're very good health.
Cheers.
Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.
You've got the job.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for allowing us to go behind the scenes at the Anantara Boput here in Koh Samui. It's been our pleasure.
Thank you, Dale. Thank you for coming.
We'll see you again. Thank you very much indeed.
Amazing Thailand always amazes you.
Well, that's it for this week's show. My very special thanks to Manish Jha and all his staff here at the Anantara Resort and Spa in Koh Samui. This is the last film report in the current series of the travel show. Next week, you'll get another chance to see my exclusive interview with the Governor of the Tourism Authority of Thailand. And next month, we'll be bringing you some of the highlights of the travel show as we look back over the past 6 months. Now, making the travel show would have been much more difficult were it not for the help and expertise of the TAM production team. So I say a very big thank you to producer Kuntanatorn, my co-editor Kun Superpot, and all the camera crews working on the travel show over the past 6 months. So from me, Dale Lawrence, and everyone on the travel show, it's goodbye.